All right. We are in here, man, ready to do a good show, and we were getting ready to go over the show, Martin, and then all of a sudden, bam, the Celtics said, we don't like none of y'all except Jason Tatum. And they're getting rid of somebody else, too, and that is Kristaps Porzingis. This just coming out that he is going to be traded. It's a three-way trade, so looking at that right now.
You got Boston, Atlanta, Brooklyn, 3-team trade.
Yep.
Kristaps and a second-round pick from Boston to Atlanta. Terrence Mann and Atlanta's 22nd overall pick to the Nets. George Niang and a second-rounder back to Boston.
So it sounds like Boston just wanted to move on, essentially, from Kristaps Porzingis. Number one, unless I'm missing something, has it come out what his issue was during this postseason?
No, I have not seen that reporting.
Right, and I haven't seen it, and it's kind of just one of those things because Jason Tatum goes down, and that obviously hogs all the headlines. And so we stopped talking about it, but that was just strange. And he wasn't right, something respiratory, and he never looked right, and they were trying to give him some minutes, and you thought, all right, Tatum goes down, you still got Jaylen Brown, and if you have a 80% Kristaps Porzingis, then you feel, all right, we got a shot with all the rest of the guys, and he just never could get right. And that's why I think this trade is easy for them. Obviously, there's more trades to have conversations about, but specifically this one, because I think for them, it's kind of easy to move on when I never really had you. You know, and he hasn't been able to play much last season. He was in and out of the postseason, exactly, and ultimately because they were so loaded, they won 3 balls going for him. They were deep. But then this year, out all the time. And he's been historically injury prone, whether it was with the Mavericks, whether it was with the Knicks. So I think for them, sure, in a perfect world, wouldn't we want a 7'3" guy who can stretch the floor, shoot, is still relatively young and you know, can still produce? But if he ain't there, what they always talk about, availability being the best ability, and that's not the case for him. So to me, they had to do what they had to do, and they're on fire right now. Wholesale, make a call right now. If you wanted somebody on this roster, phone lines are open. We got multiple phones. There's a bat phone if you really want something good. Call the bat phone. And to me, the Celtics are open for business, Martin.
Yeah, this was. I mean, and the first sign of that was the trade of Drew Holiday. Because all of these are reported right now. They can't be done until July. I can't stand it.
Like, you better get over it.
It drives me nuts.
Soap opera.
It drives me nuts. No, just confirm it. Just confirm it. Just let it be done. The draft is tomorrow. Well, there's going to be, according to Shams and the rest of them, who say this is going to be a very active draft. Like, we're seeing picks get moved left, right, and center. We've seen 2 picks get traded in the last 2 days.
Right.
And in this draft, and there are going to be kids who get up there and wear the wrong hat.
Switching caps.
Yeah, it's stupid. Anyway, as of about 8 o'clock Pacific time, Kristaps Porzingis posted on Instagram, "Thanks for all the support and questions about my health," with the little heart sign emoji that the kids do now. You know,
the thugs doing it too, though. It's kind of weird.
I just said the kids in general. Like I try. I don't even pretend to know what they. You know, Gen Z is weird.
I watch. You ain't lying. I've seen some people. I'm like, oh, that's a weird time to throw a heart up after that.
Also, couldn't imagine celebrating a championship such as that. I actually yelled at some interns at work today, and like, what do you do for fun? Anyway, he says, "I've been feeling excellent all off season and looking forward to a healthy and strong European championship tournament with my national team." So he's expecting to play with this national team. Source actual Kristaps Porzingis on Instagram, but he won't be playing for the Boston Celtics as his NBA season comes back. And to your point, they won like the year prior, so 3 years back now, which is ancient history in NBA world. It was they have to get a stretch big. They have to get a stretch big. They have to get a stretch big. Then they went and got Kristaps Porzingis, and apparently it didn't matter if all they needed was him on the bench. All they needed was him on the roster instead of actually needing him to come and be a major impact postseason player, because he wasn't able to do that in either postseason run. Obviously, the one last year ended in a title, this one in the second round. But this was the writing on the wall for the Celtics all like at every point. No matter what happened this year, this team was going to be too expensive for everything to continue to go along the way it was. Jason Tatum's Achilles injury makes it just clarity. Like, yeah, the Boston Celtics that you have known over the last 9 years, the ones that have been in the Eastern Conference Finals, that when you trade for Anthony Simons is dead in that moment.
And you're speaking of Anthony Simons, so a lot of these trades are depending on how you view them. If you're the team, some teams may say, no, this makes sense for us. We got it. Some makes sense for long run. Like, we're just getting ready. We're going to open up the books, get some money. We know we're a few years behind now. And some teams feel like, hey, we got to trade that can actually do something. And to me, I know it's a conversation about, for you feel like none of these will actually amount to anything. Sans for who?
So, to me, we're seeing all these trades get done, right? We see so many different and this is the big thing. We're going to see how, like Kevin Durant, don't get me wrong, major domino, but they're going to be, what is Kristaps going to do in Atlanta, and what is all these different moves as they're made, because Drew Holiday is going to get traded again probably. He's not going to be in Portland, and we'll see a ton of moves get made. I'm here to tell you that there's no reason to get excited for any of them unless the guy coming back to your team is Devin Booker.
Okay.
Devin Booker right now is the only player that is, like, reasonably available. Right now, just for the record, I would have thought that Luka Doncic was not reasonably available. Right. So I'm talking about what used to be reasonably available before Nico Harris. So in the pre-Nico world, what's reasonably available, the guys who are the Drew Holidays and the guys that have potential to be moved, Kevin Durant and so on, Giannis Antetokounmpos, Devin Booker to me is the one that you can get him on your roster.
Mm-hmm.
You can walk in and take you from a team that is competing for bordering a play-in spot to top 4 in your conference, and looking at the conference in a way of, like, we are real and we are competitors. Like, we looked at the Western Conference in a way like, okay, the Rockets were a 2 seed, but a lot of people were like, they're not a real competitor, and sure enough, lost in the first round. I'm talking about you looking at a team up there like the Lakers were a 3 seed. They thought we were real competitors, obviously lost. But the point is, or the Cleveland or whoever, those teams that win in the regular season, also when it gets to the postseason, you're like, these are the teams that are the favorites among the top 6 that could win a title this year.
I hear you, and I can't even say that I disagree, because I think Devin Booker's that good, and I think he's just been having a bad rap, because we forget, dude went to the finals a few years back. So it's not like he's just been in the 7th, 8th seed all his career. We're just like, man, no, this guy can play, and he's had some success and had an opportunity to go to the finals and, have a chance to win one. But I do think there are certain players who can still make a difference, who maybe aren't household names to the obviously, who do what we do and talk sports for a living. There are guys like, now that I know the Celtics are opening the phone lines, Martin, hey, new ownership, can I get a guy named Derek White? Because I think Derek White is the type of player that going to a team that is a contending team, say a Cleveland, for instance, a team that was like, man, on record, we have the best franchise winning record that this franchise ever had. We should have been better. We're the number 1 seed in the East. This is about to be our season. To me, I look at a guy like a Derek White, and I'm like, maybe that's a piece they need. A tougher guy, a versatile guy, a proven guy who's been there in the championships, and he can do multiple things. Tonight, you might just need me to get you 10 and play point guard, back up. Okay, tonight you might need me to just play defense and do this, guy. Tonight you might need me to drop 30. He's been capable and able to do that. I think there are a handful of non-Devin Booker style moves that can be made to those teams that are fleeting.
I think if you are a average team and you add a Derek White, you can become above average. I'm saying if you are a team, like right now, the Eastern Conference, if you are from the 10th seed up to the 1st seed, should be thinking we have a shot.
Oh, without a doubt. I don't disagree
That's
with
what
that
I'm saying. Like, right now, that's how wide open it is with the injuries that we have had from the premier juggernauts. I think you have Cleveland right now is the prohibitive, off the top of my head, favorite in the East because of the health and what they all got back, coming back, coach of the year coming back. The Knicks don't have a coach, or they'd be the favorite, right?
I was going to say the only team that would hear this and be like, nah, don't forget about it, would probably be the Knicks, thinking, no, we now after this season, we should be the ones.
And I did this exercise thinking something that I'm sure you probably thought as well. How many teams in the East do I get to before Detroit is a real contender?
So I don't remember we talked about this off the air on there. I think they're minimum looking at a 3 seed.
And so I'm 3, 4, 5. I'm right in the same boat with you, thinking and how the matchup plays out. You could be looking at a conference finals type of run because health and who you got coming back. So to me, if I'm like, and I don't think the Pistons are quite, I think they're a little above average after last year. But if you're telling me I could put a package together that I don't think you're losing maybe you're not. I don't think. As long as I can keep my best player, right, If I'm not selling my entire best player for it, and I can add Devin Booker, I'm doing that. Like the Houston Rockets are able to keep their best, like they kept everybody they wanted to keep just about, and add Kevin Durant.
That's the goal. I don't want to essentially subtract by way of addition, meaning like I lose too many people. Okay, yeah, I got him, but I had to give up him and him and him. What was the point? We bracket the same spot. And when you see a lot of teams do that. You give up so much to get at Kevin Durant. It's like, dude, you know you got to have Kevin Durant ain't trying to grab rebounds and dive into the stands and save balls and play defense. Devin Booker, that's not you got the same guys who can score, but who's going to round out this thing? Where's your depth? And I think that's what messed up the Suns. They had no depth. And that's what we're seeing more than ever.
What messed up the Suns? If you remember how this all played out. So they go to the finals, all right? Then Chris Paul, obviously, they move on, and Giannis has the block of one of the best blocks in the finals.
There
and we have not seen or heard from DeAndre Ayton since. Put out the APB, unless, the only person who has is Anthony Simons, because he's on the same team.
Right.
That's it. They may see each other, but I haven't heard from DeAndre Ayton in competitive basketball since that moment, right? And from that, the team gets sold. Mm-hmm. They trade a boatload of packages for Kevin Durant, who comes at the end turns his ankle in the pregame warm-ups, right? They made him to go. They traded for him to go on a postseason run.
Mm-hmm.
He turns his ankle pregame warm-ups in a freak accident, and nothing comes to fruition. Before they can do anything else, they trade for Bradley Beal, who Washington was like, wait a minute. Do you mean I'm talking about Bradley Beal, the one that's been here.
They were shocked when they got that call.
They were shocked, and they were able to make that move. It was the worst trade in the NBA when it happened, and now it's the worst contract in the NBA, and it was before they traded for it.
And with not only the financial end of the contract, the fact that it's a no-trade clause, too. So now it's, you're stuck with him.
Like, to say that Devin Booker can't elevate what seems to be an incredibly dysfunctional situation, one of the most dysfunctional situations probably in professional sports, is one thing. And don't tell me he can't play high-level winning basketball, because I watched him do it all summer.
And we saw in the Olympics, we've seen him do it. I think, too, sometimes this happens in all things. This can be applicable to regular life. It can be applicable to relationships. I think you can come in overzealous, and I'm about to show you I'm a proven winner. And I think this new ownership came in trying to prove we'll spend any kind of money. This is what we do. We know what it takes, and ended up, like you said, making moves just to show we got a bunch of money and we're here to make moves. We're going to win at all costs. When it's like sometimes slow money is better than no money, right? Let's hold on. Let's make some smart moves. Let's do some things. They came in with all the bravado. Look what we're about to do because we're big, we're bad, and I won doing real estate or whatever, doing in Michigan. And so, to me, they came in trying to showcase what they were doing, and they ended up making some bad moves on that as well. Go ahead.
And I know a ton of people right now are probably sitting there yelling, what about the Orlando Magic, right? They've been back-to-back playoffs. They traded for Desmond Bane. That's kind of my point. We have seen all these teams. And I guess, they traded for Bane. They gave up all those picks. They didn't really give up anything that they wanted to. They kept their core.
Yep.
But most of these moves, excluding that one, have been people tearing down rosters. Who's going to take the swing? And I think Desmond Bane, I'm not saying it's more of a 4-iron than a driver. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily like a full 300-yard, Barry Bonds level swing. Who's going to go out there and save Matt Ishbia from himself, and also give yourself a real shot to walk into the conference finals in the East?